Hey there, how are you? So today we're going to make some meatballs, right? And what we have is meat, and then we're going to turn them into balls, right? But wait a second, let me go through the ingredients first. So we have about 30% fat and 15 minced beef, and then after that we have Parmesan cheese, right? Grated nicely. And then we have breadcrumbs, we have a lot of parsley right there, we have buffalo mozzarella, and then we have soaked bread. So these are artisan breads that we have soaked, so get good bread and soak them. And of course, to make the meatballs, we have the sauce, the one and the only sauce that I trust and use. All right, it sounds like a sponsor. So the first thing we're gonna go in is with the bread, the soaked bread. We're just gonna put them in. We're gonna go in with the breadcrumbs, very nice. And then after that, we're gonna go in with the Parmesan. So Parmesan is really to bring the saltiness. And then the next thing we're going to go in is with the parsley. So now if you want to be generous with the parsley, go in with the more, but I prefer a bit less of that. And now to mix all of this together, what we need is an egg. So you crack the egg, pop it inside, and my best favorite part, go in with the hands. So as you're kneading it in, right, so you just want to add a bit of salt. Not too much because you have already added a lot of Parmesan. So just add a bit of salt and then keep going at it. So you really want the protein to form with it, and it gets homogeneous and all the things that you put inside gets equal to it. And after that, we're going to go make some balls. Okay, so now we're gonna make some balls, take a few. All right, so now just take a note that don't make the balls too big because you want to take a bite out of them. So make it just small enough so they can bite it, right? So we are not Americans, and we don't need huge burgers, 10 patties, 20 patties burgers. So we need smaller size balls. Don't read into it. So there you go. And just make a few balls, and I'll catch you after all of them are done. Okay, so the meatballs are done, and the rest of it I will make it later on, and once it's ready we're gonna fry it up. All right, so I have a pan that's heating up. I'm just gonna add a bit of olive oil to it, right? So, and then the next thing we're going to do is we're going to drop the meatballs in one by one. So I'm going to just make it a personal size, right? So it's just going to be 6 meatballs, and then if you want more you can add more, but 6 is more than enough for one person, or even for 2 servings. So we'll just fry the meatballs up just to give it a bit of color. So because when it goes to the Maillard reaction, it will give it a lot of flavor, and then when you're cooking it in the sauce, it is going to put all the flavors into the sauce also. So once it's fried, we will add the sauce. So as you can see that the meatballs are very nice, and then you can see the brown spots over there, and it tastes like milky, amazing parsley right now. So what I'm going to do is add a bit of garlic to it, right? And just before we're going to add the sauce, just put a bit of garlic and let the oil fry the garlic a bit, and then once the garlic gives out its fragrance, we're going to add the sauce. This is truly amazing because the smell of the garlic, right, the scent of the garlic, and then the Parmesan that's in there, it's just amazing. The milky, the garlicky taste, it's just amazing. So now that the garlic has given its fragrance, and we're just going to add in a bit of sauce. We don't want to add too much sauce, right? We just want it enough to cover the whole, coat all the meatballs. We're just going to add a bit because later on we're going to put mozzarella on it. Just put a bit of sauce, increase the heat a bit, and then mix the sauce around with the meatballs. Now one thing is that if you're going to add your meatballs without frying, pre-frying them, then it's best not to move the meatballs with a spatula. So the best thing is you just pick up your pan and you just move it around like this, right? So you move it around, and as you can see, the meatballs will rotate on itself. So put in a bit of effort and move it around. And the reason for that is you don't want your meatballs to break. Because right now my meatballs are pre-fried and they won't break. They are toughened already. But if you're putting it without frying it, well, it's very easy to break. Look at it, how squishy it is, right? So we're just gonna cook it for another 5 minutes, reduce the sauce a bit, and then we're gonna add a few basils, and we'll be good to put in the oven. Alright guys, now I'm gonna slow down the heat from medium to low, and I'm just going to load in a bit of basil on it, right? So the basil will also give you a bit of flavor, and as you can see, the sauce has thickened wonderfully, right? And the next thing we're going to do is we're just going to add this into a ramekin before we put it into the oven. Basil here, basil. Oh, we're recording? Okay, so now we're gonna put basil on the meatballs. Oh, look how nice it looks, right? So I got all the tiny basils, so go on the meatballs, and then after that, the big ones we'll be putting over once we put the mozzarella on. So look at that buffalo mozzarella, looks amazing. All right, we're just gonna put them over each. So this is going to melt, and then it's going to be gooey all over. Right, it's going to be amazing. So you just put it there, the small ones, we're just gonna wedge it on the corners. Right, there we go. There. But you know, I think we can do a bit more, so I'll just take a bit more mozzarella from that, and we go there. The cheesier the better, right? There's no such thing as too cheesy, right? Well, unless you're trying to talk to someone and then you get too cheesy, then you lost your chance with them. So there is that. All right, I think this should cover it. Maybe I'll put a bit on the middle, a thin slice. Look at that. All right, there you go. So we got that, we got this, and this will go into that, and that, I mean, is the oven. So put a bit of mozzarella on there. We're just gonna grill them, toast them off on the top, and when they melt, they're gonna be sticky everywhere. So just to design them, I'll just put a bit small ones there, here, there, everywhere, and yeah, it's good to go into the oven, right? So we check. We see this after that. Oh, okay, guys. So now you can see that. Okay, all the mozzarella has melted beautifully. Okay, this is elegance. And then, as you can see, that the basils have also cooked into it, right? Some of the basils have darkened, some of them are still light. So I've just sprinkled a few basils on top just for decoration purposes. So now all of this is useless if you can't just go in, right? And then dig in, take a meatball, and get the stretch like this, right? Oh, look at it, look at it. So once you get the stretch like this, you can literally try it out and you can have it. Well, let's do a cutting test, right? So if I put you see, I'm not putting pressure, right? So I should be able to cut the meatballs just like it. So see, it cuts beautifully. Oh, it's so soft, so soft, right? Let me, it's just amazing. Look at it, right? So this is the recipe for meatballs, Italian with mozzarella, and hope you like it, share it, and subscribe to my channel. Thank you.